Imagine boarding a plane the day before Thanksgiving. You're thinking about dinner, family, maybe football. 2 hours later, the man sitting quietly in seat 18C orders a bourbon and soda, calmly hands a note to a flight attendant, and changes American criminal history forever. He doesn't shout. He doesn't panic. He doesn't even raise his voice. He simply says, "You might want to read that note. I have a bomb." By the end of that night, he will jump out of Boeing 727 into a cold, stormy sky, carrying $200,000 in cash. No body is ever found. No parachute is recovered. No confirmed identity is discovered. For 45 years, the FBI chased a ghost. This is the mystery of D.B. Cooper. November 24th, 1971. Portland, Oregon. A man using the name Dan Cooper walks up to the counter of Northwest Orient Airlines and buys a one-way ticket to Seattle. He pays in cash, $20. He looks ordinary, mid-40s, business suit, black tie, raincoat, nothing flashy, nothing memorable, except maybe how calm he is. He boards Flight 305 and takes seat 18C. Shortly after takeoff, he orders a bourbon and soda. Then he hands a folded note to a flight attendant. At first, she assumes the phone number. She slips it into her pocket without looking. That's when he leans closer and says quietly, "Miss, you better read that note. I have a bomb." Inside the briefcase on his lap, he reveals red cylinders and wires. Real or fake? No one was willing to find out. His demands are precise. $200,000 in cash. For parachutes, a fuel truck ready upon landing. And one warning, no funny stuff. The plane lands in Seattle. Passengers are released in exchange for the money and parachutes. Here's where it gets strange. Why 4 parachutes? Some investigators believe it was strategic. If he asked for only one, authorities might sabotage it. By requesting 4, he implies he might force a crew member to jump with him. Smart. Very smart. The plane refuels and takes off again, supposedly headed toward Mexico City, with a stop in Reno. But Cooper gives specific instructions. Fly low, keep the speed reduced. Landing gear partially deployed. Oddly specific knowledge. At around 8 p.m., somewhere over the dark forests of Washington State, Cooper moves to the rear of the aircraft. He puts on sunglasses, ties the money around his waist, and lowers the Boeing 727's rear air stair, something only that aircraft model could do mid-flight. Then, into freezing rain, darkness, and 200-mile-per-hour winds, he jumps and vanishes. The FBI launches one of the most extensive investigations in its history. The case is code-named NORJAK, short for Northwest Hijacking. They comb forests, rivers, mountains. Nothing. Years pass. Then, in 1980, a young boy digging on a riverbank finds something shocking. Bundles of decaying $20 bills. Serial numbers match the ransom money. $5,800 of it. But that discovery only deepens a mystery. If Cooper survived, why was some of the money buried miles away from the assumed drop zone? Did it wash downstream? Was it planted? Or did he lose it during the jump? Investigators released the serial numbers of the stolen cash to banks nationwide. Not a single confirmed bill surfaces in circulation. It's as if the rest of the money vanished with him. So who was he? Over 800 suspects were investigated. Most were ruled out. One theory suggested he was an experienced paratrooper, but later analysis complicated that idea. He chose a non-steerable military parachute. He jumped at night, in a storm, over dense forest. He wore loafers and a trench coat, not exactly professional skydiving attire. Some FBI agents later concluded no trained parachutist would attempt that jump under those conditions, which leads to a darker theory. Maybe he didn't survive. But then where's the body? Search teams found no remains, no gear, no confirmed evidence of a fatal landing. Decades later, independent researchers examined Cooper's tie, which he left behind on the plane. Using modern technology, they found microscopic particles, rare industrial elements like titanium and cerium. These materials were uncommon in 1971, but were used in aerospace manufacturing. That sparked another theory. What if Cooper worked in the aviation industry, possibly even connected to Boeing? It would explain his knowledge of the aircraft, his calm behavior, his familiarity with the rear air-stair mechanism. Was this an inside job, or simply a well-researched criminal? Confessions surfaced over the years, deathbed admissions, family suspicions, men claiming to be Cooper. None were proven. The mystery grew larger than the crime itself. Books were written, documentaries produced. The legend expanded. In 2016, after 45 years, the FBI officially closed the active investigation. Resources were needed elsewhere, but they did not solve it. To this day, D.B. Cooper remains unidentified. No confirmed photograph. No verified fingerprints tied to a name. No body. No final answer. So what happened that night? Did a daring criminal pull off the perfect escape? Did he land safely, stash the money, and live quietly under another identity? Or did he miscalculate, plunging into the dark forest, never to be found? There's something fascinating about the idea of a man who stepped onto a plane as a nobody and stepped off into legend. He didn't hurt anyone. He didn't fire a weapon. He simply vanished, and in doing so, became one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. Maybe that's why we're still talking about him, because deep down we all wonder, if someone could disappear like that once, could it happen again?